Hey, what's up guys? Alex here, Jack Back in Garage again. I know it's been a super long time since I've recorded or uploaded anything. Obviously, don't really have great excuse, but also I kind of do. Just a lot of stuff has been going on other than car related things, so I just haven't been able to upload anything, or really just haven't done anything worth recording and uploading. We did finish the S2000 that we had it as a project. It's done, it's running. The person who bought it from us, they've got it, they're driving it, they love it. I do have a little bit more to record on it. It's a friend of ours, so we see it all the time. Got a little bit more to record about just the finishing product of what the S2000 came out to be. I'll be uploading that. Right now I've got my Integra here on the lift. I'm doing a couple things today, really a lot of things today. I'm not going to record everything. Basically, I think what I'm really going to probably mostly concentrate on today is, let me grab a flashlight, is I'm going to show you guys how to replace the torque mounts on your Integras and or Civics. I mean, I assume, I guess Del Sols, like all that kind of things, all have these, I imagine, not sure. These are some Hasport ones. These are obviously not factory replacements. Here's what a factory one would kind of look like. Obviously mine is broken. This should not come out of the center of that. I already replaced this one on the driver's side. I'll show you guys how to do the passenger side. It's essentially the same process. But these are some Hasport ones that I had laying around from an old Integra. And since mine were broken and I had these, I'm going ahead and put these on. I think these will really help me on autocross too. I'm also going to be replacing my rear motor mount today, which is like right back in there. It is broken. It wasn't broken like a few weeks ago when I checked it, but I did an autocross event about 5 days ago, and I noticed my shifter was moving a lot inside. The car was real jerky when I let off the throttle, so I checked my motor mount and the rear one is broken. I think the rear one is broken because my torque mounts were broken, and that was allowing the motor to move a lot, putting a lot of strain on that rear motor mount, caused it to break. So I'm going to be putting these polyurethane torque mounts in and a new rear mount, and then hopefully these torque mounts will help keep my rear mount alive a little longer. But I am going to be replacing, this is the passenger side one over here. I'll show you guys how to do that. I'm also going to be replacing my car's been having an idling issue ever since autocross also. Not sure if it's a vacuum leak. I don't think it's a vacuum leak. I smoked the intake system, didn't see anything. I'm thinking it's either my idle air control valve, maybe my fast idle valve, maybe a dirty throttle body, something like that. So I got a new throttle body gasket, new intake manifold gasket. I'm going to put a new PCV in it, just because those are kind of hard to get to with the intake manifold off. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I got a whole bunch of brand new Honda gaskets. That's the IAC, the idle air control valve gasket. All of these O-rings here are all for the fast idle valve. Just basically ordered all the O-rings you need for the idle air control valve and the fast idle valve. And then obviously I said the two throttle body intake manifold gaskets. PCV valve, there's my new rear motor mount. It's just a kind of a factory replacement style one. I'm hoping this won't break in the near future, because I'll have these nice torque mounts, so it'll keep the motor still and not put too much strain on that rear mount. These are the 62A versions. As you can see here, it's crossed off there. The higher the number, the harder the polyurethane is. So if you go with the 94A, it's very, very stiff, and you get a lot of vibration, but they're just very stiff motor mounts. These are the lowest. These are still better than the stock factory rubber replacements. They're stiffer, and you'll get very minimal vibration. These being torque mounts, I probably won't even get a whole lot of vibration. It's when you replace like your supportive mounts, like the rear mount, or your transmission mount, or the driver's side upper motor mount. You replace those with the polyurethane, that's when you start seeing a lot of vibration. So hopefully these torque mounts won't give me too much vibration, but still hold the motor really still, which will help me on autocross, really put the power down and keep less strain off of my other mounts. So I'm going to go ahead and probably remove this wheel off of the passenger side. Start getting this mount taken off in here on the transmission lower torque mount, and then I'll get back on the camera. We'll see where we're at. I'll kind of show a small process of doing the rear mount and the intake manifold and stuff. That's not really what this video is about today. I already have the intake manifold almost all the way off. You see my throttle body's off. I'm replacing my intake air filter too. That was pretty dirty when I checked it. So I'm just doing a bunch of maintenance today, but the main focus is going to be how to replace these torque mounts. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to get that other one off, and we'll get back on the GoPro here and see where we're at. Okay, I'm over here on the passenger side front. Got my wheel removed. Next step is to take this nut out here. That is a 19 millimeter, I believe, which I already have my impact here. Go ahead and get that off. There's a washer behind there. You don't want to lose that, especially if you're going to be putting like an OEM style, like factory replacement back in. Obviously, you'll want to keep these nuts and washers that all come off of here. The Hasport kit that I have here that I'm replacing it with comes with new bolts that mount it to the frame, and then it even comes with a new bolt to mount the goes through the center to mount it to the bracket on the transmission, and then two big washers to put front and back. So I won't be needing the nut or the washer or the little bolts that come off from under here. But if you're gonna be doing, like I said, a factory replacement style one, obviously you're gonna need to keep all your hardware. So the next step is to take these off. That's a 14 mil, I believe. There's one there, and there's one, you can't really see, but there's one on either side. You want to go ahead and take the two of those off. Sometimes, especially if these mounts aren't completely broken yet, since that one was broken, I could just take the center out and then slip the outside off. You may have to go up top and loosen your upper mount on top of the transmission to just drop it down a little, because sometimes these don't like to slip past. There's like a lip here, and so these mounts sometimes won't come down far enough to get past here. So you might have to go up and loosen your mount from up top to drop the transmission down about an inch to pull that mount off. I'll see if I have to do that or not. If I do, then I'll show you what bolts you need to loosen up top to get this mount off. All right, I went ahead and removed, not completely, but kind of backed my fender liner out of the way a little bit. It just had a pin up here, a pin here, and a little screw somewhere up right here. There's a screw into here. Kind of bent that back out of the way a little to give me a little more room. I think I'm gonna be able to get this out without loosening the mount up top. If you can get your hands on a decent sized pry bar, you should be able to get it out. I think you can, if you can pull down on it enough and get like an edge underneath like that, and then get your pry bar in here and pry the other side and get it out. I'm gonna need two hands for that, but basically you just want to get one edge under, get your pry bar in here, and then pry it down. The rubber will give enough that I think you'll be able to remove it that way. All right, so I got my mount removed. As you can see, this one is not as bad as that driver's side one was. It does have some pretty good cracks, but it isn't completely broken. For the guys or girls that are replacing this with a OEM replacement, obviously you're going to keep this stud here because that's what slides through your mount, and then you bolt it to it. For the Hasports, you want to remove this. It's a 14 millimeter here, and you can back this whole stud out because the new Hasport mounts do come with a bolt that you put in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this backed out and then get the Hasport on there and kind of show you what it looks like in the process of getting it in there. The other nice thing about the Hasports is it does have a front with an arrow, so it lets you know the arrow needs to point towards the front of the vehicle, so you know exactly the position to bolt it up in. But basically you're gonna want to put a washer, big washer they give you on either side, put your bolt through, and then it's really just going to go up in here, and then you just gotta find the hole for your about to lose my washer, find the hole for the bolt, get your bolt started, threaded in. See if I can do this with one hand or not. I think it started. Yep, got the bolt started. It won't pull out. I just want to start it. I'm not going to tighten this one all the way. You want to get all your bolts in first. I'm going to get the two little ones in here and here. Like I said, it came with replacement ones of those also. They're just a hex head I have the size here. It is a 8mm hex head. I'm gonna go ahead and get those started into there, and then we will be able to tighten all 3 bolts. You don't want to just tighten this one because then it might be tightened, tilted, and it'll be hard to get these bolts in. So you want to get everything in started first by hand, and then go ahead and tighten all your bolts at the same time. What's up, guys? Back here at the Integra, got a little more done. I got my rear motor mount out. I said I wasn't gonna go too far in depth on that, but I got my intake manifold off. As you can see, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts on bottom. You have to get, they're on the bottom of the intake manifold, but I've found it easier that it's still better to get them from underneath. You kind of just got to reach in here with like a wrench and get them. And then obviously we've got 2 on the kind of the sides, 4 more up top. There is 2 bolts on the bottom. There's a bracket here that bolts to the block, and it kind of comes up and supports the intake manifold. You have to get these bolts from underneath. It's a 12mm there, the 12mm there. Obviously there's just tons of coolant hoses and vacuum lines and stuff like that you have to disconnect from it, you know, some electrical plugins and such. It's not going to go too far in depth. I got my head cleaned off already, scraped off as much gas as I could, gave it a little gasket buff. I did put paper towels inside of my intake port so I wouldn't get too much material inside of there, so it won't go into the engine and damage anything. But I'm kind of just ready to go back together from here. As you can see, like I said, my rear motor mount's out. About to put the new one in. Here's my old one. As you can tell, it is completely broken. You can literally just take the whole middle insert out. So no good. So I got a new one to go in there. Like I said, I'm gonna finish up real quick on that lower torque mount also, and hopefully those will help my new motor mount survive a little longer. So this is just kind of an OE style replacement. They're not the best, they break pretty easily, but hopefully with those new solid torque mounts, those polyurethane torque mounts, it'll help get the motor more still and put less stress on that rear motor mount. But yeah, that's basically kind of a quick way of telling you how to do that. There's 3 bolts holding it down to the subframe under there, and then a big long bolt going through the center into the T-bracket. T-bracket's bolted to the transmission. That's just a fast kind of way of telling you how to do the rear motor mount. I'm concentrating more on the torque mounts today, but yep, that's pretty much how you do it. I'm gonna hurry up and I'm gonna get that rear motor mount slapped back in, and then do that lower torque mount, get it finished up, and then get my intake manifold back on, and it should be all done. All right, so I'm pretty much done here. I got my 2 Allen head bolts, one there and the one there, tight. I got my main big bolt through the middle tight, both sides. This is all done, everything's tight. So I'm not really going to show the process of putting the car back together, because that's really just the reverse procedure, whatever you took apart. But yeah, that's how you replace the torque mounts on Integra. Like I said, there's obviously certain years of Civics, and I assume possibly some Del Sols and stuff that are probably all the same way. But we'll see how they are. I'll probably in another video talk about how they're performing at another time. But that's probably going to be it for today. I got my new rear mount in. I've got my intake manifold on. I'm just still putting some of that stuff back together, but I'll just do all that off camera. But torque mount wise, we're good to go. Thank you guys for watching. I'll try to keep to a better upload schedule. I know, like I said, I haven't been uploading a whole lot. But I think I'm going to be able to upload a little bit more in the upcoming, just, well, months, weeks, whatever. But should be able to get, I got a lot more stuff to do on the Integra, got other stuff to do on other cars. Ben's got stuff to do to his car, a whole bunch of stuff. We should have a lot of stuff coming out soon, hopefully. So I'll try to keep to a better upload schedule. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.